Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. This time I saw The Killer's Game. This is an action comedy film directed by J.J. Perry from 2024, and it stars Dave Bautista, Sofia Boutella, Terry Crews, Pom Klementieff, Ben Kingsley, Scott Adkins, Andrew Galloway, and Daniel Bernhardt, and Marco Zura. In this film, when top hitman Joe Flood is diagnosed with a terminal illness, he decides to take matters into his own hands by taking a hit out on himself. But when the very hitmen he hired also target his ex-girlfriend, he must fend off an army of assassin colleagues and win back the love of his life before it's too late. So, what did I think of The Killer's Game? So I mainly wanted to see this for a couple reasons. Who directed it and some of the actors in it. Uh, and I liked it, but I do think there's a little bit of a missed opportunity here, and it's not as good as it should be. But I did still enjoy it. I would still recommend this. Um, but yeah, let me get to the cast. Dave Bautista plays Joe Flood. He's one of the best hitmen in the business. I've always liked Dave Bautista as an actor, as a wrestler turned actor. He's wait, is he wrestler or MMA? Yeah, wrestler. Um, because he's been in films like I mean, he was Inspector, not for long. He was fine there. He was in Hotel Artemis, which I think is a quite underrated sci-fi film. Jodie Foster gives a fantastic performance in it. Um, Man with the Iron Fists, I thought he was good in that. Bushwick with him and Brittany Snow, great film. Uh, and Final Score, directed by Scott Mann, who also did Heist. He did Fall, about the girls climbing up the radio tower. So I think he's a very good action hero type. He's a decent actor and he can fight. And here I think he sells his fight scenes very well. And he also has some decent chemistry with Sofia Boutella, who plays Maisie Arnaud, who is a ballerina that he just happens to spot and save the night of one of his hits. Um, I've always liked Sofia Boutella. I she was also in Hotel Artemis, so a bit of a reunion. Prisoners of the Ghostland, I thought she was fine. Kingsman: The Secret Service, she was damn, I can never remember. Gazelle? Yeah, Gazelle. She was good in that. Uh she's not in Argyle that much, but I thought she was fine. Um what's the other thing I saw her in? Oh yeah, she was in Atomic Blonde. She was fine in Atomic Blonde. But yeah, definitely a solid actress, I think. Um I think she's gorgeous here and I think she's fun in the role. Terry Crews plays Creighton Lovedoll. He's, I guess, kind of an ex, like an arch enemy of Flood's. He's fine though. Um, I like Terry Crews. Liked him in the first Expendables, and I've pretty much liked him in everything I've seen him in. I think he's very funny. And he's fun here. Pom Klementieff plays Antoinette. She's kind of our main bad guy of this film. I don't really care for her as the villain. Don't think she fits that well. I don't find her that threatening. She was also in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, which she was fine there. Not much to her character, but she was, excuse me, fine. Ben Kingsley plays V. Rabinowitz, who's, I guess, like Joe's old handler. Um, Ben Kingsley's in a lot of these roles where he doesn't have to do a lot. I mean, he's been in over 170 movies, so it's gonna happen. But he was fun here. He had some fun lines. Scott Adkins plays Angus Mackenzie. He's one of the hitmen sent after our main character. I love Scott Adkins, and I can safely say this film gives him better material than John Wick 4 did. Same for Marco Zaror, and I'll get to that. Andrew Galloway plays Rory Mackenzie, the other brother of Angus, the brother of Angus. Apparently he's a wrestler. I've never heard of him, but he was fine. Uh, there's like a running joke between Angus and Rory that they're Scottish and their Scottish accents are so deep that they need captions. So there's like hard coded captions of what they're supposed to be saying. I did find that to be a pretty funny joke. Scott Adkins has shown that he can do comedy with films like Accident Man, um, and other stuff like that. Daniel Bernhardt plays Max. He's basically the right hand man of Maisie, or not Maisie, Antoinette. I love Daniel Bernhardt. He's fun here. And Marco Zora plays Emilio El Botas, and he kind of just like dances to fight. I thought he was fun too. Wish I could have gotten more of his character, but I get the whole point of this is to have a lot of fights with different people. But yeah, I'm not sure I could say too much about this because while I do like it, I can also admit that there's not a ton to talk about with it. Like the reason I like looking at these like kind of more indie action films is because I get to see a lot of actors that I don't usually see in big budget films. Like Scott Adkins. I still don't get why Hollywood is refusing to put Scott Adkins in movies. He hasn't been a lead in anything above like a $50 million budget. Uh, Probably even a $20 million budget because his best films are with directors like Jesse B. Johnson, Isaac Florentine, like, and those are usually made for under like 10 or sometimes even 5 million. Like Avengement, I'm pretty sure cost less than $2 million, which is insane. I mean, most of it takes place in one room, but still, they made good use of the budget and time. But I get to see a lot of these people, like Sofia Boutella, for some reason hasn't really shot off in popularity. Maybe it's partially due to Rebel Moon. Dave Batista, he's got the My Spy series technically in Guardians of the Galaxy, but Guardians of the Galaxy can only go so far. And yeah, overall, I think this is a film if you're not looking for like super demanding entertainment, if you just like, oh yeah, this feels like a solid Netflix movie. Not to say that all Netflix movies are bad, it's just I've seen more bad Netflix movies than good ones, or more middle of the road than good or even decent. And this cast list, apparently this went to theaters, which I'm a little surprised. There are some issues I definitely have with it, and I'll get to that. And I'm not gonna do this as a spoiler review because I I mean I can talk about most of what the film's about without talking spoilers. Um, this film looks. Oh yeah, the director. Oh my god, I almost forgot. This is directed by J.J. Perry, who also directed a Netflix movie, Day Shift, with Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, uh, Megan Good, Snoop Dogg. Um, and I thought that was a fun film. Scott Adkins also had a small part in it, alongside Steve Howie playing Russian zombie or vampire hunters. And Scott Adkins was funny there too and did some cool shit with the stunts. And I think that's what this director's pretty good at in term like doing comedy and action because the comedy in this film for the most part really works. The only bit where I'm like, okay, this is fucking stupid is the running joke with the British guy that's like the British cabbie that is Antoinette's cousin Try to see if I can find who played him. Yeah, George Somner. I've never seen this actor before. Yeah, I don't recognize this guy. Apparently he was in Crawl. I still haven't seen Crawl, so oh Lord, my camera's having issues. But yeah, that whole subplot was a bit fucking annoying. Not really that much in the way of comedy except Terry Crews telling this guy to shut the fuck up, which I was saying too, but like just because it's relatable doesn't make it funny. Um I think this film has a decent sense of style. Like it's trying to go for like a stylistic look with the camera moves at some points. There's this bit where it's going between him, our main character working as an assassin, and him going on dates with I can't remember the names for shit. Maisie, him going on dates with Maisie, which I thought there were some pretty cool shots there for sure. Like cool transitions, like him grabbing him grabbing for something in his pocket like goes into him grabbing a gun and shooting somebody. It's like that kind of stuff. I like that. Um the film's edited well. Like fight scene wise, the fight scenes look really well done. That's the main reason any most people are going to be watching this. But at least the comedy is still well done. If the comedy wasn't well done, it could kill the entire film. That's part of why I don't usually go into action comedies, but this cast I couldn't pass it up. Um the film is definitely very violent, which is a good thing. There's a little caveat to that violence, but I'll give it that it's very violent. Also the romance between Maisie and Joe I think is pretty decent. I'd say it was done better in a film called Asher with Ron Perlman, Famke Janssen, Richard Dreyfuss, uh, tons of heavyweight actors in that film. I can't remember who played the old woman, but yeah, I think the romance here is fine, but it's not as good as Ron Perlman and Famke Janssen's chemistry. Definitely better in terms of just acting, those two actors, but still, I think it's done well enough here. Again, the biggest issues, Clementiev, I don't know where this actress came from. I don't hate her, but I don't think she works in the villain role. And there's not enough time spent on her as a villain to really flesh her out. And your main duel isn't even with her. So it kind of gives me John Wick Chapter 3 vibes where the main villain just doesn't really interact much. So they're like the ending is just kind of whatever. Um the CG blood here was very noticeable. That is a part of the it part very much diminishes my enjoyment of an action movie when the CGI is sticking out so bad to me. And if you're trying to make an ultra violent action movie and maybe the squibs don't look good enough, reshoot it. Like I know this probably didn't have an insanely high budget, but I don't know how often they would have been using squibs, but it just this film does not the CGI blood looks bad. There's some good practical effects at times that show that they can do practical, but I don't know why they decided to use CG for the blood. Um, the musical score, I don't. Let me see who even did the musical score. I don't. I can't remember a single bit of it. It was very bland. Uh, Roque Banos. Wait, no. This guy does good shit though. So it's Roque Banos or Banos who did the score to Don't Breathe and Don't Breathe 2 and the Evil Dead remake, which I remember those having memorable scores. So I'm a little bit disappointed here. Maybe he just wasn't bringing his A game, I'm not sure. But yeah, the score I thought was pretty generic. Uh the final showdown is it feels like it's leading up to a more action-packed finale, and the finale is kind of a letdown, so there's that. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. It's just that there's a lot of other action movies I could pick to watch instead that are a lot better and a lot funnier and a lot, more entertaining. Excuse me. But yeah, that was my review of The Killer's Game. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And like, subscribe, whatever, and movie reviewer next door out.